Swack, 2 rounds. You're different, right? I mean, have you watched it back a few times? What do you think?
Yeah, I've watched it back a few times. I've talked about it 100 times.
Yeah, I know.
You know, same old. It's a good fight. On to the next.
You got to keep yourself grounded, though, right? I can tell you're kind of doing that, because even in that dressing room afterwards, where I was with you, every little joke you were cracking, everything you were saying, it's like, hey, Moses. So if you let that get to you, you're going to get too hyped up, right?
Yeah, of course, I know. Like although, like, I feel like humbleness is a state of mind rather than action. Like, someone could be humble in the mind and like not show it in his actions, and I do. I'm not saying I am, but I definitely wake up every day as a loser. I don't like to think of myself as a winner. Well, like, listen, all grand scheme of things, yeah. I don't want to downplay what I've just done, but this is nothing to where I want to be. I've got a whole career ahead of me. I'm not applauding myself because I beat Mario Swack, no way.
Is that like one of your
fights? It was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen. Look, you were expected to win. I don't think anyone was picking Mario Swack to win, but it's the fashion that you did it in. But is that one of your fights to make sure that you don't get too gassed up on the praise? Because people will be gassing you up constantly. And I've heard you say it though, but I've heard you say that you've had it before where you've got gassed up and then maybe you're taking your eye off the ball a little bit. You thought you were the man kind of thing.
Yeah, I was 14, 15 year old. I mean, I won't make that same mistake again. Like I said, my career is still ahead of me. I still got a lot of years left in my career, and like beating Mario Swack ain't really like the highlight of it. It's not gonna be the highlight of it. Like even like, I know Frazer, Clarke obviously went the distance, Klitschko went the distance or whatnot, but I know that Mario Swack wasn't known for having power, wasn't known for having skill or IQ or nothing. He's just known for taking guys' distance. And I just feel like with my hand speed, like, I'm faster than all the heavyweights that he's boxed. Maybe I wouldn't say the most, I wouldn't say the strongest, but I would say I'm definitely up there with the power. And I just like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, I knocked him out. Let's move on to the next target.
But you were looking like a heavyweight Manny Pacquiao in there. I banged that out as a tweet. But he got like 500,000 views with like people like being like, do you know what, man? Maybe he is a little bit like. What do you think of that heavyweight Manny Pacquiao?
I'm Moses ITAUMA, that's all I know. I'm not trying to be no heavyweight Pacquiao, no heavyweight Floyd Mayweather. I just want to be me, and that's it.
So that the style that you've got, I guess you're going to get the rounds in the gym because you just seem to be blasting everyone out. So you're getting the rounds in the gym to build up the stamina. So if someone does go longer, you know you've got it in the tank.
Yeah, of course. That's the reason why we took this fight. Or that's the reason why we took Mario Swack. So when I moved to Bend, he was just banging on to me about efficiency. You need to be more efficient. And then obviously we wanted to find an opponent that would tailor me to being efficient. Mario Swack was the guy, but he didn't bring that out of me, so what are you going to do?
Well, what are you going to do? I mean,
stepping up.
Who are you thinking?
Anyone.
So that's.
You shout me some names, I'll tell you yes or no.
Look, I know that if I say anyone, you'll say yes. I could say King Kong, and you'll say yes to that. You're ready for King Kong, right? I think you've shown that. But like realistically, I guess it feels like other guys that could maybe take you rounds. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone at the right kind of level. But I've heard you talk about Justice Hooney. I've heard you talk about Frazer, Clarke, guys like that.
All good fights.
Would they take those fights?
Is that my problem? As far as I know, yeah, my job is to get in the ring and fight. Same as your job is to get on the camera and talk. I'm not going to tell you to start being something else. Do you get what I mean? With my job, I just have to get in the ring and box, beat whoever's in front of me, and whether it's Justice Hooney, whether it's Johnny Fisher, whether it's Frazer, Clarke, whatever, like that's for my team to decide and me to give me the nod. And I've never turned down a fight. I'll literally fight anyone, honestly. And I don't want to say that because it's like me being rude or disrespectful, but I just want what's best for me, what's best for my career, what's best for my family. And in order for me to do that, I have to stomp on someone else's dreams. And that's just it.
You know, you mentioned a couple of names there, Johnny Fisher being one of them. I think that's one that Francis has mentioned, Frank's mentioned as well. And I've seen that being put to Johnny Fisher recently. I think IFL did an interview with him. And the sort of thing that he was saying in response was, big fight down the line, I'll fight anyone, I'm the fighter, it's got to make sense for the right money, those kinds of things.
See, you saying that, yeah, I haven't watched the interview or anything, but you saying that just makes me feel like he's not confident in himself. Why is he saying down the line? Why is he saying the right fight for the right money? You've never mentioned me saying that. I've just said I'd fight anyone. Obviously the money has to be good. But I never said, oh, I won't fight you unless I get X amount of money. No, that's not it. I will take a cut from my purse from my next fight to propel me to a world title. I will do that because that's the person I am. And I was kind of taking Johnny Fisher serious. But like now, is he doing it for the money or is it, do you know what I mean? And me, I just feel like money's always gonna come. Like you can't chase the money because once you get what you wanted from your money, then you've put a cap on it. Whereas me, I like to chase the titles and I know the money will come. Do you know what I mean?
Do you gamble on yourself knowing that? You know, even if I
gamble. I don't have to gamble. It's like the harder the train, the luckier I get. This boxing game's all about luck, you know. It's like you can get into the ring and you can be unlucky. But the more you train, obviously, when you're on your diet, the harder you train or whatever, the luckier you get. But there can still be a chance where you can come into that ring and 99% you're gonna win. And there's always just gonna be that 1% that you might get unlucky. And that's just is with boxing, isn't it? You can go in there and just be the better man and still lose. Just because it just wasn't your night. It's like it's alright in football, you can rely, let's say if you're a centre back, you can rely on the midfielders, you can rely on the keeper. In boxing, you can't rely on no one. It's a lonely sport. And that's why I love it, because if I lose a fight, I know I lost it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be pointing fingers. So I get to choose my team. I get to choose who's telling me what's right or what's wrong, what instructions I get to hit my corner, or what S&C coach I got, or whatever. Like, if I lose, that is down to me. I should have got the better team, or I should have got a better S&C coach or a nutritionist or whatever. But that's not the case right now, do you get what I mean? I'm blasting people out, I'm doing my job as I'm meant to. So I've got no complaints.
It's a good attitude to have. So if God forbid anything does go wrong, you're just looking at the man in the middle. I've seen that in a lot of good athletes. Yeah, but you see other athletes, they blame X, Y, Z, they blame the team, they didn't teach me this.
But they can. They can. If you're playing basketball, you have X amount of people. You're playing football, there's 22 people on the pitch. In boxing, you ain't got that. You just got yourself. And you get to choose who tells you your instructions. So you can't blame them. You should have known that you're getting bad instructions. If you're inspiring and he's told you to do something and that thing didn't work and you haven't brung that up, that's on you. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like I've got a right team right now. I've got a good team.
You seem in a good place. Listen, another one that's been mentioned for you is a future fight. Frank's been on it straight away. It was like Frazer Clarke. Frazer Clarke, I'd make that fight tomorrow. I remember having you and Frazer Clarke next to each other out for, I think it was Fury.
I like Frazer.
He's a good guy, right? I think everyone likes Frazer. But it's like,
nothing personal.
Be a good fight though, right?
100%. I like that fight. If it proposed to me, I'll definitely take it. I haven't got nothing personal against Frazer. It's like, I respect him. He's an Olympic, he's a bronze medalist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's ranked a lot higher than me anyway, so I'll take that fight. And it's nothing towards Frazer. If it was Joe Smith, do you get what I mean? It would be the same circumstance. I'll be calling him out. Only because he's got that that's the same with me. When I'm up there and I've got a world title, people don't want to fight me because of Moses ITAUMA. They want to fight me because I've got the title. And that's just the same with me. I'm not calling these people out because I dislike them. I just call these people out because I want what they got.
But I remember having you and Frazer Clarke next to each other, and the sort of thing that he was talking about. Because I'll always try and say, oh, maybe you two could fight.
It's your job to do that.
Of course. But he'll talk about, down the line, hopefully I'll be long gone. Even Fabio Wardley the other day was saying, hopefully by the time he gets to British, I'll vacate and all that. They kind of, they acknowledge that you're going to be a player, but I guess you're a player now, so it's all happening a bit quicker than maybe they anticipate. Like, what do you think when you hear comments about big fight down the line? Oh, I'll vacate by the time he gets there, kind of thing. What do you think of that?
I don't know what you want me to say to that. What am I supposed to do? Just sit in the wait?
'Cause you're ready for those fights now.
Of course I am. I'll take them fights in a heartbeat. That's the reason why when I turned professional, I was like, I want to become the young heavyweight world champion, because I feel like I am, and I even was ready for that. It's just, I've got to wait for the world to realise that.
And also, your experience isn't just like you're 19 and you started boxing last year kind of thing. Because some of these guys did just start boxing 18, 19, 20. You've been boxing since you were
more than half my life.
So your experience points actually go beyond a lot of these guys who are active now.
Exactly. So I've been boxing a lot longer than David, a lot longer than Solomon, a lot longer than Fabio. And these like Solomon and David are boxing for a British title. English title. Fabio's already the English champion. And I've been boxing with them longer than all these guys. Like I said, it's nothing. Maybe Solomon's a bit different, but it's nothing. I don't have nothing against them. It's just the business that we're in. Isn't it funny how Real Madrid can play Barcelona, and like the centre back could be friends with the rival centre back, but in boxing you have to hate the guy who you're playing against. Do you get what I mean?
You said with Solomon it's a bit different. What's that?
I just don't like his character. I just don't like him, innit?
Have you met him?
Yeah, I have a few times, and I don't want to keep barking up his name because he's the English champion. He's got something more than me, so I guess I have to respect him for that. He has achieved something in the sport, but I just want to fight him, innit? I've been tormenting his manager. I was literally at the O2. Obviously, he had Joe Joyce. They both got the same manager, and I was tormenting the life out of him. And he was like, "Listen, let's be honest. We're not gonna fight you." I was like, "That's all you need to say. Don't give me the hope that you don't want to fight me, and then, do you get what I mean? Everything's going back and forth." I got the answer I needed. I like to listen, how are my next fights, yeah? I don't know. I'd want to fight someone that's higher ranked than me. And I would rather prefer it to be English so we can have a domestic dust-up. But if it's not, it is what it is.
You seem in love with boxing at the moment. Do you feel like you are? Has that always been the way?
It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Do you know who else said that to me?
Who?
Tyson Fury. Said he's got a love-hate relationship.
It's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't. That's just it.
When do you not like it?
Don't even know, you know.
You have to get up to train and...
No, I love that. Going running with my brothers at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, I love that. Going to training, sparring 10 rounds when it's grueling. Sometimes I hate it, but I love it sometimes, you know what I mean? Being in the gym with the boys, I enjoy it. When do I hate it? When the politics get involved, when the fakeness comes out, you know. I wouldn't say it's the boxing. I say the people in boxing would kind of make it shit.
You just, like when you said all this, like you want to be youngest world heavyweight champion. Hey, that could still well happen, by the way. But it probably seemed easier in your head because you probably just thought, I'll bash everyone up and I'll get there. But there's other things.
I thought I was watching. I'm looking at pro boxing. I'm thinking, you get in the ring, you fight, the winner goes on to better. That's just what I thought it is. But boxing is not that simple. It's so much more complicated than that. And if I had known that, maybe I would have said that, maybe I'm not. Okay, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Listen, the Olympics is going on as we speak, and we're seeing good fighters maybe not get the rub of the green, maybe not get the decision.
If you were going to ask me about Delicious, I watched the fight. I watched the last round, but he did look like he lost in the last round, so I don't know. But I heard England are doing poor.
Not great at the moment. Look, we got
everyone's
someone
turning professional though. Everyone's turning professional, and you can't blame them. You know, well, look at what they sounded like. Boxing is thriving at the minute. You can't blame anyone for turning pro.
Doesn't it make you kind of think like, look, I definitely made the right decision? Because you could have come on the short end of a decision, first round of the Olympics you're out, and then what?
In another universe, I could have gone to the Olympics and still had like what I got as a professional. So, I don't know. I'm not looking at what shoulda, coulda. I'm looking at what is right now. And at the minute, I've just beat Darius Whack. I want to fight for a bigger better opponent, and I can't get fights. Got the problem, how do we solve it?
Well, thankfully not my problem, and actually not your problem either.
Exactly.
So we'll leave that
down to my team.
100%. A couple more things. Look, I've heard you say that Naz was actually one of your favourite fighters that you looked up to growing up. You were just on an undercard with his son. Like, did you get to meet Naz? Spend any time with him?
Yeah, I did. He at the weigh-in, I spoke to him a little bit, but he's just like my favourite fighter growing up, though. It doesn't mean I want him to like me or anything. I just admired his work. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's like I'm not really, obviously, like I appreciate him or whatnot. But if he was to say, "Nah, I don't like this guy," I wouldn't be heartbroken by it. It is what it is. I just liked his style. I looked up to him. Not looked up to him, but I liked his style and I liked his charisma. He had a lot of charisma. He would sit right next to you and tell you, I'm going to knock you spark out.
Yeah, I've seen the interview. He put his arm around him.
Exactly, and then
told him.
But he never said it in a disrespectful way. He never said it like intentionally, like I've got a problem with, I don't know, something personally against you. It's always like kept it boxing, and if it was outside of boxing, it was just family and God. And that's what I liked. That's what I liked about him. Even though he was an entertainer and everything, it was also a very, obviously I don't know him personally, but when I spoke to him in Poland, I was like, nah, he's humble. He's humble. He's got his feet on his ground and he's so respectful, so nice, so easy to talk to. And when I first turned over, I didn't want to be like that. I don't know why, I didn't want to see him approachable. But then now I'm like seeing like, no, all these guys that I grew up like watching, I'm like, all of them are approachable, all of them are nice guys, you know what I mean? Rarely in boxing are you going to meet twats, do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, with Naz, I just like the fact that every time after a fight he's praising God. Do you get what I mean? He was grateful. Even when he lost, he still praised God. Do you know what I mean? He still was humble. And I just like that. And on top of that, there's Nassim Hamid, isn't it?
Of course. Look, it's great to have him around for these shows and have Adam on. Final one. Look, yeah, I've mentioned this to you a few times. You have been around Tyson, AJ, all of these guys, all of these modern greats. Usyk was ringside watching you over the weekend. What does it feel like, kind of being under their watchful eye?
I don't feel no certain way. Usyk's created his own path. Tyson's created his own path. Joshua's created his own path. I'm trying to create mine. And I guess I can ask tips for them on like how they dealt with pressure, or how they dealt with fame or money or whatever. But at the end of the day, I still want to create my own legacy. And like, they're watching me as I used to watch them. That's how I like to think of it. How did they feel that I went to watch their fight. Probably wouldn't have thought two things about it. That's how I feel when they watch me. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Moses, I'm looking forward to your next step. Looking forward to your whole career. 19 years old, it's incredible. Well done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.